All right, we're here at the Rigs and Techniques workbench here, and we got Chad Kinney from going to help us catch some of these red snappers. Tell us how he does it, how he goes about it. I know you guys are lucky in Texas because you guys got a red snapper season year-round.
Yeah, so 365 days a year, we're lucky we got great state water fishing. We might run 20 miles off the beach, north or south, but we're still in state waters, which reaches out 9 nautical miles.
So as long as you stay within 9 miles, you can
stay there,
catch a red snapper.
Good. Yeah, and you're allowed 4 per person instead of just 2 when the federal season's open.
And what's good about where you fish out of, Port Mansfield, is you're got good deep water close by.
Yeah, we got the closest deep water, so we can be literally 5-6 miles from the jetties, and we're in 60 foot.
And that's about where you're wanting to be fishing for
Correct.
these fish?
We're anywhere from 30 feet up to 90 feet.
All right. Well, when you're out there, where do you like to start? I mean, do you have I know you probably have a ton of numbers, but let's say if you were going out there, a fellow, just wanting to go try to catch a snapper out of nowhere.
Yeah, so years ago, the way I learned was back then they had paper charts and chart graphs and stuff, and now Garmin's, of course, way up there, and it's working great. You got your sonar, you got your GPS, all these tools at your deal. So if you got a hotspot map or talk to a couple local guys at the dock, steer you in the right direction, all you got to get is a general area, start looking at your Garmin sounder. We were talking about it. You can sit there and you look and you'll be reading, say if you're in 70 foot of water, start going up to like 65, 64. There's a ridge there or a reef there. It starts marking a little bit, maybe yellowish and orange, and you'll start marking some fish. Go ahead and drop a test line there.
It doesn't have to be a big spot either, does it? I mean,
lots of times it's just a little wormholes or a little whip coral and it's just a flat bottom. But you'll mark that on the sounder too. It's going to read a little more yellowish instead of the softer.
Now, I remember when I went fishing with you a couple of years ago. I guess we were out there catching. We did catch them, and but you were saying that sometimes you don't even mark any snapper. Sometimes.
Yeah, lots of times on those hard sand bottom areas, if you mark a spot or two here and you test it, nothing's really going to show up. But you start chumming or get them aggressive on a bite, then they're going to start showing up in your whole sonar. Your Garmin's going to be loaded up and they'll be more than likely suspended.
I gotcha. Yeah. Now, when you're out there, do you prefer to anchor or do you drift over?
If you can drift, it works great, but you got to check on the currents and conditions all times like that. So you never know until you actually get out there on your situation. Best thing again on that one is use your Garmin. Is I'll set up a good drift, back your boat up into the seas and your conditions and your winds, and it'll show there on your Garmin, how many feet you're away from your mark. So you start out 24 feet on that side of it, make your drift over. If you're going really slow and catching fish, keep drifting. If it's getting really bad and you're moving too fast and those fish can't keep up or they're closer to the rock, then you can set your anchor out and go. Put
your baits on the structure.
Yep.
Well, talking about baits, what do you like to throw down there after?
As far as a fresh bait, if you can get them from your local marina, you can get like spot croakers, you can get piggies, you can use live croaker, live piggies, pinfish, squid, menhaden, anything you get like that. Bonita works excellent. If you
it sounds like they'll eat anything.
They will. They're carnivorous. They will get after it.
Yeah. Well, do you use it like a chicken rig or a two hook rig or?
What we like to do, we've been talking about is free line. So you can actually get some of these Eagle Claw trocar hooks. It's hard to see their little 8/0.
All right.
And if you tie that straight to Momoy, we've been using 30-pound direct straight to it, and you just free line it out with these calmer conditions, which we've got coming up here in September. And just free line it out, and you'll get those suspended fish up. You'll see them, and they'll hit it like that. If not, definitely a double rig. If you get in a situation where there's after a storm or something, there's higher currents, then go to about 130-pound Momoy and do a double rig with a bank weight and get to the bottom because those fish will be holding tighter.
And you like to use that heavier leader too? Why?
Yeah, so we're mentioning
it's a great
you cut your hands up all the time when you get these lighter leaders, or definitely don't do the braid on a leader because it'll get you. But rule of thumb, if you do 130 pound or heavier, 100 pound about being the lightest, you can do a wrap on that with your hand and lift those snapper up over the boat straight in the cooler, and you can take a de-hooker and save your
rigs and your hand at the same time. Now, when you get a bite, what's your? I mean, you're not going to be jerking on it.
Well, it depends unless you're using an Eagle Claw, jig, which I love using right now. We're talking about those. So, like, if you can get a 1 ounce to a 3 ounce jig, and you got down our lighter currents, and go ahead and set the hooks on those. Yeah. If you're using paddle tail with it, however you rigged up. If you're free lining the circle hook, then what you want to do is you got to let them run, kind of like you're free lining croaker. They'll hit, let them run, count to 5 or 15, 20 feet off there, and just engage your reel and start reeling and let them take a run. It'd be perfect. Like
reel.
Let them run.
Reel.
Yeah.
Well. Is there any other species that you catch often while you're out there trying to catch these red snappers?
Yeah, so you can run some mangrove snapper. You can get a few gag groupers spotted in here and there. Right now, there's kingfish everywhere out there, which you can catch them trolling. You catch them free lining. If you're catching free line, they start biting you off. Go to a wire leader, tied up with a haywire twist, and everything's out there now. Ling will pop up. You just never know in the summer. And then the wintertime comes around. The bigger snapper actually show up in our state waters, and we're fishing state waters year round.
Well, beautiful, man. Well, thank you very much.